It is health that is the real wealth. Welcome to Richer Soul, your journey to a more purposeful, intentional, amazing life. Where are you going to go and how are you going to get there? Let's figure that out together. At the core is the financial success to be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want. It's about personal freedom. Some quick announcements here. I'm going to do 8 episodes, one on each of the areas that we talk about. After that, we're going to find experts in all of these areas and have them on to the podcast to dig deeper into the subjects. I would like to get episodes out about once a week. I'm also going to offer a free 2-hour coaching session to anyone who would be willing to have a session recorded and released as a podcast episode. I believe it's important for all of you to hear stories from other people to see how they struggle and how they overcome their financial issues and put together their life plans. Don't worry, we can always change your name and keep your personal financial information off the recording. If you're interested in a free session, please email me at rocky@richersoul.com. Also, if you have any feedback on the podcast, please do the same. So today, let's chat a little bit about health. Now, if you're going to have a great life, you probably want spectacular health and a really nice body to enjoy it, don't you? What good is a great life if you can't enjoy it in great health and can't even get out, be able to walk or run to enjoy it all? There are amazing things happening in the world of science that may allow us to extend life and solve many of the medical issues that we face. What good are these advances if you're too far gone to help? What I have seen is that as people age, they continue to get fatter and weaker and take more drugs. Even though people go to the gym and get on the dreaded diets, they don't seem to make any progress and they give up. However, it's because we've been given the wrong information on the best ways to diet and to gain strength. Our doctors push pills on us because we want fast solutions. Those more often do more harm than they do good. Once I figured this out, after years of going backward, I was able to lose 50 pounds, and now I'm in the best shape of my life. Not only that, I eat bacon and ice cream, and I love to enjoy my glass of wine. We will dig into how you too can enjoy life and feel great. Let's create a system for health and success and figure out how your body works. If the plans you have aren't providing the results you want right now, then it's time for a change. One thing we do need to agree upon is that you need to enjoy your diet or you will never stay on it. As for me, I love my diet. I eat the foods that I like, and I occasionally do cheat, and I do whatever I want, and I still don't gain weight. I remember hearing a story from Ramit Sethi, a famous entrepreneur who teaches about finance and psychology. Years ago, he went to Tufts University, and they invited him to lecture during a symposium on obesity. Lecturer after lecturer offered solutions for America's obesity problem. All of them revolved around education. Americans would be thinner if only they knew about good nutrition and the benefits of exercise, they told them. Slimming down the entire country was possible through an aggressive public awareness campaign. When it was his turn to speak, he couldn't help beginning with an observation. He said, "I think it's fascinating that the other speakers today have suggested that education is the answer to our country's obesity problem." He said he slowly gestured around the room. If education is the answer, then why hasn't it helped more of you? There were audible gasps in the auditorium when he said this, quite a few snickers, and about 5 times as many sneers. Unsurprisingly, Tufts never invited him to lecture again. The point is, the information on weight loss and health from the establishment is all wrong. Thinks that's not so? Then why are the people lecturing us not in the best health themselves? Why is it that every 10 to 20 years they change their mind about what works, what's good, what's bad, or they have some new pill that's supposed to solve our problem? Here are some facts that you probably already know. The first one is that animals on a starvation-like diet have less health problems and live longer. The reality is we eat too much. Another one, people who exercise now think they can eat more food because they exercised and they're hungry. You can't, and you don't need to. Fat alone does not make us fat. Excess sugar does make you fat, and it can cause diabetes through weight gain and insulin resistance. The other thing is everyone is different, and what works for one person may not work for another person. You've got to hack your own body, see how it reacts, and see what works for you. Your doctor is very busy. He knows you won't actually follow through on his recommendations for diet and exercise, and if he doesn't give you a script for a pill for something, you probably won't like him and think you wasted your money, and you'll go looking for another doctor who will. Pills most often alleviate symptoms, but they don't solve the underlying medical problems that are there. Excessive eating and sugar make us fat. The other issue is that our food has changed over the past 50 years. If you've ever been to a third world country and see what their chicken looks and tastes like, you'll realize that this is not what we get in America. The animals have been altered to create better taste and more meat. And while that increases profit, it doesn't increase our health. Same goes for our fruits and vegetables. The food we have today is vastly different than what we ate historically, and that is why we are gaining weight as a country. Another question is, why do we even eat 3 meals a day? This is not the way people used to eat. We don't need to eat so often. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, and science is starting to come out with more data to show that. The reality is our bodies are made to be used, and people who don't use their bodies are going to have more health problems than those who do. Keeping active mentally and physically is a major part of living a richer life and creating a sharper mind. Look, I know, diet and exercise are horrible words. We don't like them, me included. However, we do like the results that following these routines give us. There is a certain confidence you gain by being fit and strong. Also, people who start to make gains in one part of their life tend to make gains in other parts of their life. You need balance and you need a catalyst. So, how about you create a diet you would love to eat for the rest of your life and create a body that makes you proud? The reality is, weight control is 80% nutrition and 20% exercise. Of course, our genetics also have a major effect on this as well. I would like to talk to you about a few different concepts. The first one is that your body wants to regulate your weight at whatever it is right now. It took you years probably to get to this point. It's going to take time to change that. And your body is always going to struggle to kind of bring you back to where you were. That's why people go on yo-yo diets. Another concept that I'd like to introduce you to is something from Tim Ferriss. It's called minimum effective dose. He did a ton of work experimenting with exercise and found the best way to find the minimum amount of effort to get the results you wanted. So for him, it was 3 times a week in the gym for 30 to 45 minutes to get amazing results. You don't need to spend hours. His system uses certain exercises and a 5x5 routine, which is 5 sets of 5 reps. You can learn more about it in his book, The 4-Hour Body. Let me warn you, the book is really big. However, the good news is you only need to read the parts and the chapters that apply to you. So if you get a chance, pick up a copy. It'll help you get started. Remember, we talked the story about baking a cake and following the recipe. You have to understand how foods are processed by your body and how to make it work best for you. Do it in the wrong order and you end up with a mess. Let's talk about how food is processed in your body. There are 3 main different sources of fuel: protein, which is meat, fat, which you're familiar with, and carbohydrates, which is sugar. Each one of these is metabolized differently by our bodies. Our bodies need glucose, sugar to live, and that is the fuel our cells need. However, it doesn't mean that we have to eat sugar, especially refined sugar. The liver is responsible for storing and creating sugar based on insulin levels. Insulin is a signaling hormone. When you eat sugars, insulin is released into your blood, and it causes your body to remove sugar from your blood and store it as fat. Insulin is the major key between store and burn. The more sugar you eat, the more your body wants to store. High protein, high fat does not trigger high insulin levels, and so it keeps your body burning versus storing. Weight loss occurs. Let me repeat this fact. Eating meat, even bacon, does not lead to fat like drinking a soda would. The calories can be the same, however, the sugar leads to fat storage and the bacon to fat burn. I was able to lose massive amounts of weight by getting rid of sugar in most of my diet. It's also really easy to eat sugar calories. Let's take a look at some examples. A can of soda is 140 calories. An ounce of chips, which is hardly any, is 150 calories. One cookie can easily be 70 to 150, if not more, calories. On the other hand, 1 ounce of cooked chicken is 45 calories. An ounce of steak, about the same. 1 cup of zucchini is 36 calories, and a cup of zucchini is a lot more than an ounce. 1 whole apple is 72 calories. You can see how easy it is to get 750 calories from chips and soda versus eating a pound of steak. Sugar also comes in other forms, pasta and bread. You probably need to curtail the portions of these. You also have to realize there's different parts to it. There's the part where we're going to lose weight, and then there's the part we're going to maintain. So at that point, you can bring back some of your favorite foods. Here's the other thing. Walking a mile could possibly burn 100 calories. That means you have to walk a lot to get rid of that sugar. When you start to equate eating sugar to the amount of exercise you need to burn it off, you'll see how little we should really have. On average, they say that reducing 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of weight loss. However, not all these calories are the same. Changing what we eat can change how we look. It's the first step to massive change. You need to change the temptations in your home by not bringing the junk into your house. One simple key is to shop the outside of the grocery store. The fruits and veggies, the meat counter, staying out of anything that's processed. Our bodies are not designed to eat this crap. Even though companies know how to make it taste great and how to make our bodies crave what's bad for us, it's not good. It's really not that hard to cook, and there are other options if you can't cook. The decision to make a change occurs in the store when you put the food in your basket. Get the bad stuff out of your house and out of your basket. Eating out can also be very difficult. However, you can ask for substitutes and pay attention to what you're eating. There are ways to eat healthy at fast food and other places. You need to put a little effort into what the makeup of the food is that you are eating. They do provide nutritional info so you can see the amounts of sugar and salt in food, along with the calories, the protein, and the fat. With a little bit of experimenting, you can find out what works for you. And again, what works for you may not be what works for someone else. Let's remember, rich habits are not to eat junk food except in small doses. Remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be balanced. Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Body allows you to have one cheat day a week when you can eat anything you want, as long as you're good the other 6 days. Understand there are different phases. One is getting to your perfect weight, and the other is maintaining it. There's a lot more freedom when you're in the maintenance phase than when you're trying to lose the weight. You may need to be extra careful for a short time to get the long-term success you want. So, some things that we talked about. Get rid of sugar and carbohydrates as much as you can. This means bread, pasta, candy, soda. I'm not saying never eat these, but if you can keep them to a minimum, especially during the weight loss phase. Test and see how your body reacts to food. Everyone is different, and there are even blood tests out there to see which foods can cause inflammation in your body and reactions. I found that I could eat chicken and mixed vegetables and lose weight. But when I went to a Chinese restaurant and they cooked the same chicken and vegetables, the sauces they used while cooking in front of me caused the chicken and veggies to cause me to gain weight. So I knew that wasn't going to work. Find foods that you enjoy eating and make them the basis of your diet, as long as they can allow you to lose or maintain the weight you want. I have a lot of vegetables that I love to eat, so I look forward to it. I also eat bacon. I eat all kinds of meats. My diet doesn't suck. It's actually enjoyable, and I can live on it for the rest of my life without worry. And occasionally, when I want, I can cheat. We talked about this before. Just because you exercise doesn't mean you can eat a lot more now. Remember when we talked about how much exercise you really need to do to burn a few calories? Maintaining that healthy weight can help you to reduce illnesses like diabetes and also reduce pain that comes from being overweight. Being healthy and in shape provides you a massive mental boost, and success in one part of your life leads to success in other parts of your life. In order to make these changes, you have to change your habits and your mindsets. We're going to talk about frameworks of how to do this in another episode. For now, I want you to be more aware of what you eat, what medicines you take, and what you can do to get off of them. Also, if you're not active, it's time to get active. Before we chat about that, though, can you do me a favor? Remember to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes so you know when a new episode is released. And if you like what you hear, please leave a review or rate the show. It helps to get the word out. And if you know someone who can benefit from this information, please share the podcast with them. If you have a question or comment, or if I get something wrong, please email me, rocky@richersoul.com. By the way, I don't have medical or nutritional degree. I'm sharing what I've learned from others. You should consult with experts for the best advice for you. Now, back to exercise. When I first started running a few years back, I could barely go a quarter mile. However, slowly but surely, over time, that increased. Just like the compound interest curve, you have to keep making small improvements. For me, it was literally another 10 feet, another tree on the path, the next mailbox down the road. It was all small wins. Over time, I was able to run a 5K. Here's the thing, though. Cardio is not necessary for weight loss. The best way I found out to rev up the body is through lifting weights. I spent years on the machines and gyms and got nowhere. And that's when I found that free weight lifting, something I never wanted to do, has dramatically increased my strength. The big three seem to be the key for a full body workout in the least amount of time. The big three are squats, benching, and deadlifts. I can recommend some resources for this. There's a book called Starting Strength. There's an app called Strong Lifts. And there's a website that I've used called rippedbody.jp. I know going to the gym is going to require overcoming a lot of hurdles and fears, and we can address these more in some of the other shows. But 3 times a week for 30 to 45 minutes and a good diet, and you can have an amazing body. Let's face it, this isn't easy. If it was, we'd all be in great health and shape. However, with a little bit of experimenting, making small changes, we can, over time, make massive differences in our life. Most people quit too quickly, or if they stumble, they give up. Not every day is perfect on the diet, and not every day in the gym goes well. However, if we can have more success than failure, we will be successful. In Major League Baseball, 1 out of 3 hits, a .333 batting average makes you a hero. Now, we're probably going to have to do a little bit better in our diet and exercise case. However, if you can hit 1 out of 3 to start, you're on your way to being great. Another area many people fail to focus on is sleep. When they are tired, they don't perform well. Weight loss, exercise, and living a richer life all depend on good sleep habits. Getting 7 to 8 hours a night is necessary. Once again, we may need to create systems and habits in our life that will allow us the time to sleep. In our next episode, we'll talk about time. For better sleep, you need to shut down electronics, monitor your caffeine intake afternoon, make sure you have a comfortable mattress. Let's face it, we spend 1/3 of our life on that bed. Let's make sure it's nice. Alcohol is another issue that can affect us, both physically and mentally. We become accustomed to drinking, and we forget what life was like without it. If you think back to the first time you tasted alcohol, you probably remember how bad it tasted when you tried it as a kid. We, however, learn to like it. There's a lot of social pressure to join in drinking, and the effects of a few drinks go far beyond the tiredness in the morning. Eliminating this can be very difficult. Let's do our best to control it. Thankfully, most of America has stopped smoking, me included, although there are these new vapor things around, and they're totally not healthy. Neither is chew or other such products. I know life sounds boring without some vices, so we'll have to settle on a couple, right? But make sure that they're a small part of your life and not a major part of your life. Let's look at the bigger picture. The American healthcare system is very disjointed. No one takes responsibility for your overall care except you. And while your primary care doctor is supposed to handle this role, the reality is he will not question a specialist, nor does he have the time to oversee your care. Many times, different doctors will prescribe medicines to you for their areas of expertise, but those medicines may screw up another area of your health, requiring another pill to overcome those symptoms. It's your job to understand your health and take control of it. You have to be the person who oversees all the different needs you have. You cannot rely on the medical system to do it for you. They won't. If you are on pills, you should educate yourself about how you may be able to reduce or eliminate them. Sometimes it's not possible depending on the condition, but many times it is possible. It's much quicker for your doctor to write a prescription for you versus teaching you for an hour what you need to do. If you want to have a better life, you need to take ownership of your health care. No one else will. I'm not an expert in all these areas we talked about today. However, there are many others who are, and I've shared some of those with you. You may find that each of these people will get you so far, and then it's time to find another system to get you to the next level. I'm not going to tell you I love exercise because I don't. I do, however, love the results it provides. I've tried different systems. I've even had personal trainers to help me continue to make progress. There are also lots of scams in this area. Pills, supplements, and the ab rocker are not going to get you results. Be careful who you listen to. Your success can come through a healthy diet and a simple lifting exercise plan. Changing your health is going to take small steps over time. Don't try and climb this mountain in a day. If you are young and you're thinking, what health problems do I have? I'm in great shape. That may be. And if you're taking good care of yourself, then you won't end up with trouble. But remember, that compound curve works both ways, and small steps in the wrong direction will not seem like much now, but they compound, and over time they cause major issues over a few years. I'll leave you with one question. Do you feel great about the way you look and about your health? If you don't, start making small changes today. We'll talk about ways to make changes a little bit more in episode 5 on mindsets. Today, I have a simple challenge for you. For 1 week, keep track of everything you put in your mouth. Just keep a log, paper, just take pictures with your phone. I don't care how you do it. See what you're eating and go back and review it and see if it's in line with what you think you should be eating and the diet you should be taking. So today we just kind of covered the basics of diet and exercise and of creating a great healthy body so that as you have a richer life, you can actually enjoy those experiences. Before we close out the session today, I want you to understand my role. It's a dual role. Part one is the conductor, not the guy on the train, the one who stands in front of the orchestra. Too often we have so many competing priorities. We need to find a way to keep them in harmony. Many times work jumps on us, or a family pulls us, or our finances go south. Having someone to help look over all those pieces and find balance is the job of the conductor. The second role is Sherpa. If you want to climb Mount Everest, you're going to need a few Sherpas, guides who know the way and can help you get to the top. In both these roles, it's you that has to do the work. I'm just here to guide, teach, and show you a path. In our next episode, we're going to talk about time, the most precious commodity out there. Until then, have an enjoyable week.